Hey guys, I'm IzDaisho, and I am here bringing you the next deck guide for Apex Predators. It's been a while since I actually did one of these, just even recorded a commentary. I'm just like, wow, I haven't even opened Audacity in like a week, because it's been far too long. I'm gonna go record some after this. I've been doing live streams in case you haven't noticed, but they take up a lot of my time that I would have dedicated to recording and getting some games. But anyway, decided to get back on this deck guide thing. The rest of the decks that are left, I don't know about them. I just don't know how they should be broken down, and I don't want to give you bad information. But this is the way that I really recommend to run the Apex Predators decks. I know it's a fan favorite. Everybody's always suggesting that I use this deck in my live stream, and I love it too. The only problem is it's not good enough. So before I get into any of this analysis or whatever, I'm just going to say, if you're serious about your ranking or whatever, never use this deck. It's never going to be the best matchup for the situation. That being said, it's probably the third best matchup. It's probably the third best deck to play against Unquenchable Fire. So if you want to play it against Unquenchable Fire and you think you're going to lose anyway, then go for it. You're not going to be so much better off with Ancient Depths or Vampires, which are what I think the other two good decks to play against it. But anyway, let's get on into this thing. We're just going to first go through what we don't have in the deck, and then we're going to go through what we do have. Alright, so Wall of Vines. Wall of Vines is a 0-3. I was talking to somebody about this today in my live stream, and basically they're like, well, you need defending against flying. So yeah, you do need defense against flying, but this is not a defense against flying. This only defends against flying with 2 attack or less. Then it can just block it. Once it has 3 power, it's just going to go through this, and basically this is a 1-turn chump block. So sometimes that's going to be useful, but usually not. And a lot of the flyers in this game have more than 3 toughness, so I do not like Wall of Vines at all. Elephant Guide is alright, but basically it says, alright, I'm going to make one of your guys a little bit beefier, and then I'm going to make one of them a little bit beefier, and they really don't need that. Most of your creatures are strong enough anyway. I mean, when it dies, it gives you a 3/3 green elephant. I'm not saying this is a bad card, but I really didn't find anything that I should take out and put instead of that. So I left Elephant Guide out. Grazing Gladeheart isn't a bad card, but by the time you get it out, like, you have a lot of 3-drops. Let's take a look at the deck stats. You have 9 3-drops, 8 4-drops. So basically, it's going to be really, really hard for you to play something like Grazing Gladeheart unless you have nothing else, and you're going to play it later on in the game because you want to get your stronger creatures out first. You don't want to get your guys out who are just going to chill on the side and get you life. So I really don't think that there's a place for Grazing Gladeheart in this deck. Rites of Flourishing is a card that I thought about for a little bit, but it helps your opponent out far too much. Basically, everybody else has better cards than you in their deck, so why would you want to let them get them out quicker? I don't know. That's basically my thoughts on that. Beast Hunt is weird. It's like so much worse than Lead the Stampede. I'll show you that card later, but this card, it only reveals the top 3 cards in your library, and it puts the creature cards into your hand and the rest of them into the graveyard. So like, you're just basically, and most of the time, only one or two of those cards will be creatures. Most of the time, they'll be something else. But anyway, I don't like this card at all. And this is Humping Wumpus. Humping Wumpus is a really, really interesting card, because when I read it the first time, I thought it said, when Humping Wumpus enters the battlefield, each player may put a creature card from his hand on the battlefield, but the key word is other player. So basically, you play this guy, he's a 4-cost 6/6, and everybody else can play something, but you can't. So if they have anything decently strong in their hand, then they can just get him out for free, which is just amazing for them. That being said, if you're playing against a deck, and like, let's say they don't have any cards in their hand, or let's say they even have 1 card in their hand, then sometimes it works out, but in general, Humping Wumpus is not the way to go. Sorry, guys. Hunter's Feast. It's a sorcery, costs 4, and it gains 6 life. Maybe in like Two-Headed Giant or whatever, 4-cost gain 12 life. That's good, but it's not good this way. And then there's Crawworm. Crawworm is a 6/4, 6 cost. I don't like him. costs 6, only has 4 in the back and 6 in the front, and he doesn't do anything. So that's not good. Giant Growth is like your only trick in the deck, and this is the best part about this deck. What you really need to do is every single time you swing in, pretend you have a Giant Growth. Just leave at least 1 mana open, and then they'll think you might have the Giant Growth if they're halfway decent, and then they might not block. Grook's Companion is a 2-cost 3/2 trample, so it's a 3/2 for 2 cost, which is alright, and then it also has trample, so it's a really good card. I love Grook's Companion, but don't be afraid to throw these guys away. If somebody has something that has 2 in the front, then unless it's like Elite Vanguard from White deck, most of the time it's worth it to sacrifice your Grook's Companion. Not always, sometimes. Nature's Lore, I mean, I wish there were 4 of these cards in the deck, because this is basically just a mana ramp card. It's so good because it's a mana ramp card that only costs you 1, because the forest comes into play untapped, so that's really amazing. But basically it lets you get an extra land out, and that's exactly what you want to be doing. This is Runeclaw Bear. He's a 2/2 for 2 cost. This is Border, I don't know. He's a 2-cost card. You don't have a lot of 2-cost cards, so yeah, you have 6 2-cost cards. Let's see, what are they? They are Runeclaw Bear, these 2, Grook's Companion. So you have really 4 creatures that are 2-cost. So basically, if you have 5 lands, then chances are you're going to have a 3-cost and a 2-cost, and you're going to be able to play both of them. So that's why I like having Runeclaw Bear in, because he allows you to play this card when you have like the odd amount of lands or whatever. Borderland Ranger. When Borderland Ranger enters the battlefield, you may search for a basic land. So I like keeping this guy in because often you don't draw your 5 lands or 6 lands that you need to run this deck, and then this guy just helps out. He's basically like, alright, well, I'll pick you up a new land. Plus he's a 2/2, so you're willing to sacrifice him, so you just throw him at shit. It's cool. This guy is a 3-cost 3/3. Not amazing, not terrible. In fact, I would go as far as to say I would take this card out for Grazing Gladeheart, except for one card I'll show you later that it's so much better to have a 3/3 than a 2/2 for. So anyway, this is probably your best one of your 4 best cards in the deck. It's hexproof, 3 cost, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of forests you control. So this card is absolutely amazing. It's just amazing. You can use it for so many things. It's immune to unquenchable fire. It's so good. Lead the Stampede is actually a really good card in this deck, especially once you get a lot of land out, and once you get ready and set up, then you can just throw this guy out there and he'll go search for more shit, and it'll be good for you. Leatherback Baloth is annoying that there's only 1 of them in the deck. I mean, if there was 4 of these, then you'd be set. Like, why does Machinations get 4 Ethereum Sculptors and and this deck only gets 1 Leatherback Baloth? Like, what does it have 4 of? Like, Borderland Rangers, it gets 3 of those instead? Seriously? Come on, game. Give us something decent. Seriously? And anyway, alright, Cudgel Troll's a pretty good card, too. It's 4 cost, 4/3, and it only costs 1 to regenerate him, so he's a really good card. He can get killed by Incinerate, but there's only 2 of those in the entire format, so don't worry about that too much. Just make sure that if you get killed by Incinerate, you don't try to regenerate, because that card says can't be regenerated. 2/4, this is your only protection against flying. If they get flyers out, you're pretty much fucked. Like, the second they play their first flyer, you just want to start racing as fast as you can, because you're just going to get fucked. Serrated Arrows is an amazing card. Basically comes in with 3 -1/-1 counters on it, and you can just shift them wherever you want. So, it comes in with 3 arrowhead counters, which are whatever. Okay, so it's a 4-cost card, which isn't bad, and then you can tap it that turn. It's pretty good because the counters stay there counters stay there forever. That's basically the only reason why it's a good card. If it was just for until end of turn, then it would be garbage. But anyway, let's get back to there. Sorry about that. I did not mean to click that. Then you got Thrun. Thrun, the Last Troll. I mean, this guy is so hard to kill. First of all, he's a 4-cost 4/4, just saying. He has hexproof. He can't be countered, and he has regenerate. So the only way to kill him is like Wrath of God, and that's not even here yet. Like Damnation is coming, which is the same thing in the first DLC, but it's what am I doing? Why do I keep pressing? Oh, god damn it. Sorry guys. Anyway, Thrun is probably your best card in the deck. Either that or Overrun. We'll get to Overrun though. Anyway, alright, let's move to Wolfbriar Elemental. This card is alright. when you have a bunch of lands out and like it's towards the end of the game and then you draw him, then you're just like, oh my god, I now have 10 wolves as my little pets to do whatever I want, and it's amazing. So I like the Wolfbriar Elemental. He's pretty good. Grook's Pack Leader is one of the best cards in the deck also. Whenever another creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. So that's the reason why I have these Centaurs in there, because when I play these Centaurs, I get to draw a card as opposed to playing Grazing Gladeheart where I would not get to draw a card. So that's really good. Drawing cards is amazing in this deck because then you'll maybe run into this card a little bit more often. Overrun. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample. So since you have so many creatures and they all get +3/+3 and trample, you should probably win the game when you play this card. Just saying. Stomper Cub. I'm going to explain to you why this card is better than this card. Alright, so Stomper Cub has 3 in the back, and that's really, really bad because there's so many cards that can kill it. But even if those cards block it, this guy still gets some damage and he has trample. Crawlworm, on the other hand, costs more, so he's harder to get out, and only has +1/+1. So you could say, whatever, the extra land that it costs is for the +1/+1, but this guy also has trample. So I really don't see a comparison. I think this guy is so much better. Plus, if you got giant growth, then you can do tricks that way. Anyway, Multani Maro Sorcerer. This guy isn't that good. I just call him Shroudy McShroud because he's got Shroud, and almost nobody has Shroud in this entire format. It's all like, oh, I'm cool. I have Hexproof now. I'm so cool. And now we named it, so it's Hexproof. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. But his power toughness are equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands, so it's usually not going to be that strong. But it could be sometimes. Plus, it's got Shroud, so your opponents can't take it out. That's another thing that's good against Unquenchable. This guy, Terra Stomper, is like ridiculous. He is 6 cost, 8/8 trample, and he can't be countered. So that's, I mean, it's amazing. It's a great card. If you get him out, then you're in really good shape usually. Engulfing Slagworm, I don't know why, but I never draw this dude. But if he ever gets onto the battlefield and they have something that doesn't say flying, then they can't attack for the rest of the game, because all you have to do is block this. Even if they have Death Touch, they still die, because whenever it blocks or becomes blocked, destroy that creature. So that's before damage. Nobody does any damage to anyone. You just kill their creature and gain life equal to that creature's toughness. That's ridiculous. And then there's Gaia's Revenge. This card is pretty good. It's a 7 cost, and it can't be countered. It's got haste, and it's an 8/5, and it's basically got hexproof. So it's all right. It's got 7, but it does have 5 in the back. This is why this is pretty much the last card to make the cut, in my opinion. But anyway, that's it. This is my these are the 60 cards that I run when I ever play Apex Predators, which, gotta give you fair warning, if you ever want to win, do not play this deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a nice day. Bye.